Good morning, everyone. Well, it's a devastating move there last night. Well, it's literally just hours ago, isn't it, really? And you can see there's some of the structural damage on some of the smaller, well, I suppose the majority of altcoins. A little bit optimistic on last night's little video, but at the time, that's what it was looking like. At the time, we were at supports, and at the time, it was worthy of a position, but yep, stopped out yet again. Well, that's what stops are for, isn't it, really? And that's why you long supports and not resistances. So, yeah, it was not a great day yesterday. It stopped out across the board from about 6 or 7 positions, basically. But like I say, that is life. Let's start with Ethereum today, shall we? So, as you can see, Ethereum has moved down towards the horizontal support. It's also 200 exponential. See a golden cross on that on the daily. A little bit stronger than a 4-hour, but still. And we've gone down into the horizontal, well, it's a diagonal really, which is the breakout zone of the symmetrical triangle, which still has a measured move of $7,000. And we're still floating above the 21 exponential and the 20 moving average at the moment. Obviously, this is looking to close in like a day and a half. If we will measure the wick to the wick on this super beast, we've got a 27% from the very peak to the low. On Ethereum, obviously, Ethereum's one of the bigger ones. You don't really see too many of those, to be honest with you. You know, I can't remember the last time to hand. I mean, that was a big couple of weeks, wasn't it? It was a 60% week, that one there, and all the way back down yonder. It's like, feels like a little baby now, doesn't it? When you go all the way down here. Oh, little baby Ethereum. Oh, look at little baby Ethereum. So we'll give this little bit of a measure. 48 over about 3 weeks, and we'll measure just the reds. So over another 3 weeks here. This is including the old crash, about 60%. So, yeah, for Ethereum, it's not so bad, and it's actually structurally still intact for continuation up. That is the case. It is the case. Same sort of thing for Bitcoin. So we alluded to the idea that this could happen as well, and we don't want to see it going below the 21 exponential. If it were to, then the next major target really is about $101,000. So let's move over to that daily on Bitcoin, see where we're sitting, and you're still above these areas, so you come smashing down below them. So I mean, let's put it into context. For Bitcoin and Ethereum, and well, I suppose exclusively those two guys, it's not been all that bad. It's just 10% move in a day. Haven't seen many of those. Actually, I can't remember the last time I saw a 10% move down in a day for Bitcoin. It was a while ago. I've seen 10% moves up, to be honest, not down. So yeah, I mean, there you go, another big crashing move, but still sort of floating above this horizontal support now. There you go. And below that, you've got this one over here, which is your 107,000. So look, supports, there are many, okay? There are many to choose from. You could even, I suppose, attempt a long right now. I'm not. I'm going to the seaside today, and I don't expect to have any reception, so I'm not going to be sitting around thinking about longs. But yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum still holding up relatively okay on those high-term time frames. We've had a washout. I mean, as the last I checked this morning, I saw the fear and greed index is like in the mid-20s for Bitcoin, which is nice. That's good, right? Because I think it was at 27, and we're at the price of $112,000. So to me, that is a very nice little situation to find yourself in, regardless of the liquidity and the chaos that took place, the lack of liquidity, should I say. Some altcoins have been hit particularly hard, and they have rebounded, but look at the state of this. Unbelievable for a Binance chart. That is crazy. This is the sort of XRP situation that we used to see. 43% in a day. All the way down to this horizontal, the $1.60 zone. We've basically shot all the way back up. I mean, this anyone who put a buy order down there, and somebody did because it's bounced from there, it's 50% up, in the blink of an eye, basically. That's pretty sweet. I do like the way that wick looks, especially coming from an area like that. But, I don't like the way my portfolio looks because, as you all know, XRP has been one of my big positions. Well, it still is one of my big positions. across the board in crypto. Obviously still massively up, but I mean, the average buy, to be fair, would be roughly in the 30 cent zone. But still, when you're having large investments and you look at your portfolio balance, it is slightly disappointing to see, let's face it. But it's also, for somebody like me, and I don't know about you, but the longer you're in the market and the longer you deal with these sort of things, those figures that you see of unrealized gains, unrealized profit, it's not real until it's realized and it's actually in your bank. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. On balance, I'm massively up. Compared to this time yesterday, yeah, I'm not as up as I used to be. That's just XRP. There are plenty of things out here that were hit even harder than that. The one that I was amazed to see was this. Actually, Atom going to zero, basically. Didn't think I would ever see that, but I've seen everything now. I've seen it all. So, obviously this is early on in the day, and I don't think I'll get too much time to myself today to look into the reasons that have led to such a chaotic lack of liquidity and dramatic wicks and candles. But this specifically has shocked me. Atom's never been a powerhouse of strength, has it? Let's face it. So I suppose we shouldn't really expect a great deal from it. We never really have in the short term. I have bought more of it today because me and my Atom pension plan. But someone said on the Telegram I saw yesterday that he could have picked up my entire pension for $1, and it's true. He probably could have, or less, on that wick. I don't know what the how the liquidity would have felt down here when it was trending down towards 2 cents, but how much you could have picked up. But in theory, yeah, you could have picked up my Atom pension plan for a couple of quid, which is mental to think that. Anyway, it feels a little bit like the last sort of thing that you would imagine before maybe a bull market continues. And I know that sounds bizarre and crazy, but we're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum still in a bullish position on the weekly, which is the main thing to focus on, and even on the daily, to be honest. And they're going to lead the market with a bit of luck. But the same thing will apply. Don't expect strong things to happen from charts that don't possess strength, really. We've got quite a lot of coins out there that do possess strength. Obviously, you've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, you've got your XRP, you've got your BNB. These sort of things. In fact, I haven't checked the damage on Chainlink today, which is another massive hodl of mine. Jeez. Okay, but I mean, look, it's still up a lot from the accumulation zone that I picked it up from. But yeah, I mean, jeez. What you've got to think about when looking at any of these charts is, what is the structure? Well, we had these resistances, didn't we? Bang, 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 and then down. Okay, that's fine. That is what it is. What's the weekly saying? Well, the weekly, so at the moment, the structure could actually break if we don't pull the socks up on this one. You've still got golden crosses and everything like that. It's not a great example of pure strength, although it is a series of higher highs and higher lows. If you discount the wick, and that's always the thing. Wicks are there to liquidate. Candle bodies are the agreed price upon close. So it's always, for me, always about the candle bodies, and never really measure to wicks. Wicks can be interesting, but they're not, for me, a reflection of the price that you measure from. So I'm looking at this target over here for Chainlink is $34 based on the candle bodies on a weekly, not the wicks. So we're talking about all-time highs. Yeah, you can say that price actually reached at this exact level and it was a new all-time high on XXX coin or whatever. But it's only a real new all-time high for me if a candle body closes above the previous one, because that means a bit more of a reflection of the value, the agreed value between the bulls and the bears. They fought it out, and this is the established price, basically equals value. So at the moment, things are probably going to be looking very sketchy across the board, and we've got to wait for candles to close. And when those candles close, which will be tomorrow night to Monday morning, then we can really start to assess the future of what's going on. I would imagine everybody has been liquidated or stopped out, okay? Hopefully stopped out. I'm always talking about employing good risk management to get stopped out appropriately and not to go crazy and, never have a stop loss. It's always about risk management. So if you ever see me long or hear about me longing, it's always at a support. And I always talk about stop losses. It's very important for these sort of reasons, especially in crypto. But geez, welcome back to the crypto mania. Everybody's been liquidated or wiped out. I would hope that we're not going to go straight in again with 100x leverage longs, because they will also get stopped out, wiped off. It's a game, really, a game of liquidity, or lack of at the moment. But the beauty is that Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, like I said, is basically gone down into the 20s, and that's much better than being up in the 90s. So let's leave it at that. Let's allow for this weekend to drift through. There's a few things that may have caused this as an instigator. We've got the Trump-China thing, you've got the Fed thing, and you've got maybe some sketchy exchange stuff as well. Whichever way you're going to go about it, we want traditional markets to open on Monday to see how they're going to respond. Because if they respond similar to this, because again, this happened after the close, really. I mean, S&P took a good slap in the face, very big slap in the face. But, is that enough? Is that done now? Have we finished? If I could get this to load up, we're at the 10 exponential. You could easily see a pullback further to 6,300, as I was saying last night. It's another 2.5%. I think that's reasonable to expect that. Like we were saying on the stream not on the stream, but on the video last night, before the massive component of that dump, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, versus the breakdown. 1 out of 7 or 1 out of 8 times we came down there, we broke. The other 7 times we held. It's just a risk to reward scenario. So there is a good chance we do come down to here, which means further downside, I suppose, into Monday. But it is what it is. This is the game we play, isn't it, really? It's a risky business. But anyway, I'll leave it there. As you can probably tell, I'm not massively upset about any of it. This is crypto. This is the crypto that I remember fondly. And I think we've generally been spoiled in this market, this bull market, because we haven't really had those sort of events. We haven't really had those sort of moves. So it is a bit of a blast from the past. It definitely took me a little by surprise, I have to say. But at the same time, when you reflect on the overall damage of crypto as a whole, let's talk about just Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are going to be those main leaders. Yeah, when you reflect on that, it's not actually that bad, not yet. Anyway, not yet, but we shall see. I said that last night, only to see in the corner of my eye my phone going beep beep beep, Rekt City incoming, one-way ticket, Rekt City. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Nothing much more to say. If you want to join the Patreon, there are links in the description below. We'll be doing a stream tomorrow night. However, I probably will say that for the vast majority of altcoins, they're going to be at the mercy of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the S&P, and global news at this moment in time. It's an emotional market, but standing back from all of that, Bitcoin and Ethereum are still positioned in a high-term time frame, bullish uptrend. So I'll leave it at that. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.